Hey, what up? It's River. This is your first time watching one of our videos. Um, I am starting to think that I have dissociative identity disorder. Or not starting because I've been making videos since January of this year, 2024. Um, if you don't know what dissociative identity disorder is, it basically just means there's multiple people within my body. So because of childhood trauma, repeated childhood trauma, my brain was unable to consolidate into one personality or identity type. So now there's multiple personalities in this body. This is an educational channel, so that's all I'm gonna leave it at because I don't really know what else to say. Sorry, I feel a bit awkward today. I don't know why. I think it's because I haven't filmed a video in a while. But what I wanted to talk about today is, and I think I've talked about this topic a few times, but sometimes I go a long time without anyone switching out or really communicating with me, and this is one of those times. I don't remember the last time someone posted a video, but I think it was either Brielle or Carl. It was probably no more than 3 weeks ago, and I have seen online through question answering websites that some people go weeks or months without any switches or really communication with their alters. So I'm trying to tell myself that this is normal and it's not super uncommon, but it still feels really invalidating. I think because I'm still in the process of discovering everyone, or learning about my system, and still starting to accept or really believe that it's true. And when I mean believe it's true, I think it's a common experience to invalidate your existence and your social reality when you have DID or when you feel you're multiple. At least when you feel you're multiple because of childhood trauma. I think because the brain develops and adapts, and removing awareness from your parts from yourself, if you're the host, or possibly other alters. I know there's alters in my system like Montreal who often have a hard time with denial as well. So I think it's just a mechanism that's built in to protect us, and I think that's what's going on. I think because my brain, because at the peak of learning about everyone and still dealing with my flashbacks and stuff, things got really unsettled for me, and I was in a lot of crisis all the time, and I was hospitalized. So I think my brain is just trying to protect myself and just kind of make me remove myself, or remove the reality of what's been happening, as in I have dissociative identity disorder, from my awareness and from my perception on things. So I think that's in part of what's going on. I think also because there's not a lot of trauma or escalations or stress in my life right now. I think there's not really a reason to switch. I know there's times that I can make one of my alters switch out. Not make, but do a positive trigger that would have one of them switch out. Or there's times that or there were times when I remember when Brielle switched out because of one of my littles had a really rough day at school. So I believe there's incidents where triggers happen because of high stress or because of positive triggers, like I've said. But for some reason right now, I think because I'm so stabilized, there isn't a lot of that going on. So I believe that's in part, like I said, because my brain is starting to dissociate and remove the awareness of having multiple people within me from my perception, and as well as there's not really a reason for switches to happen. Now, I don't necessarily think that there has to be, there's a lot of discourse that I've seen about whether switches can just happen naturally, or if you can force a switch, or if switches have to be because of a response to a trauma trigger or a positive trigger. I'm leaning more on the side of a switch can just happen naturally, because that seems to happen in my life, whether that the reason of that switch is just not in my awareness or because it just happened to happen. I don't know, I'm still learning these things about myself. So I do think that, like I said, switches can happen basically for any type of reason, in particular what for my understanding on things, that so switch can just happen for no reason. Sorry, I feel like that was a long-winded explanation for the same thing, and I was going in circles saying the same thing over and over again. I do that a lot. So yeah, I just feel really invalidated. The only thing the only constant symptom that has remained is just the amnesia that I experience. We've talked about it before, but we basically, sorry, my toilet is like broken, so it just won't stop making that sound, and it's so quiet that you probably hear it, so I'm sorry. But amnesia, the way it works for my system is like everything that like I can remember, all of us can remember, and that's probably like 5 to 10% of what happens in our day to day, especially as like time progresses. So like today I have a better understanding, late like yesterday, and then as far as like last week or the week after, like most of that is just gone. So amnesia always pretty much is with me. Of course, despite it being a long time, I do switch, I do have alters. I've never really heard my alters, like their voices in like the traditional sense that you would imagine, like hearing distinct characteristic voices. It's more like I think I hear their thoughts. I'm still having a hard time wrapping my head around this because I'm like, are these just my thoughts or are these the thoughts of my alters? It's starting to make me understand that it is, because sometimes I'll have a thought that's just so contradictory from what I believe in the moment. Or sometimes I have a thought that is just uncharacteristic for myself. And because before I realized that I could be multiple, I just thought, I don't know, I didn't really, it was just like, it was normal for me to like have weird thoughts like that, so I didn't really question it. But now that I'm starting to realize that I could be multiple, I'm starting to realize, oh, that wasn't my thought, that was a thought of an alter. But it just kind of sounds like the same uncharacteristic type soundless voice, like words I should say actually, in your head that you think to yourself. I think everyone kind of feels things like that. I haven't really been experiencing trauma. It's gotten to a point that my trauma has gone so detached from me that I'm actually thinking of moving back in with my mother, who lives with my abuser, just to like save money. I'm going to school and it's just hard to keep up with rent and paying for school. I don't pay for school, but like rent and like not working as much because I need to like focus on school and then pay for rent at the same time. So I'm thinking of doing that, and I'm only thinking of doing that because like I've gotten to the point with like my trauma that like it doesn't seem like it matters anymore. Like I it's kind of hard to explain because on one hand it's like, no, that was super fucked up and like I can't do that, and on the other hand it's like, well, I don't even care about it, so like why does it matter? And I rationally I know I care, but there's no emotional connection to that. There's no like PTSD, there's no like flashbacks, there's no like, even it's, I feel so indifferent about how, it's hard to, it's so complicated because like I know that it's like I would say I feel indifferent, but I know that I don't, but like I don't have any emotions to like make me think otherwise. I just kind of feel like, yeah, that was the thing that happened. It's almost kind of like, you know, like when something happened in your childhood and like you have no like, you almost have like emotional amnesia with it. It's like that, but not only can't remember, I also don't have emotional attachment to like the fact that trauma happened. So it's like really complicated for me to like feel invested in it, and I know that like as a host that's my whole responsibility. And I hate saying that because I think of like my authors who have experienced this trauma, and I'm saying that I don't care that this happened to them. It makes me feel not good about myself. But I'm just being honest. So I don't really know. I just don't know. Like I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about things. I don't know how to like make myself care, and like I think back to when I had like the memories happening and the flashbacks happening, and like that wasn't a happy, like that wasn't a good time for me, but it at least made me feel grounded in my life. Like it didn't make me feel like I didn't know who I was, or I don't know. It's just like I want to remember this stuff and I want to have the memories and the feelings attached to it, but someone or my brain is just like, no, that's not the best thing for you. Let's just have you forget about it all and just go on as life normally. But the reason I kind of want to address this is because I want closure for myself. I want closure for my system, but I also, I don't know, it just kind of doesn't feel right not knowing. It doesn't feel right not like handling this and experiencing this. Also, I'm also worried that like the other shoe's gonna drop, in the sense where like the flashbacks are gonna come back, the trauma's gonna come back, and like if I address it now, I'm hoping I can be stronger for when that does happen. But I also know it's almost like opening Pandora's box. Like, who knows what's gonna happen if I try to go down this path. And there's a lot of advice from like more senior systems saying like, don't rush it, don't force yourself to like process your trauma. And I'm not forcing it, but I just wish that I just wish the indifference would go away. Like, it's really confusing for me to not, I can't even articulate it. It's just not, like, it's like, yeah, like I know remembering the trauma and like processing it is gonna be really difficult, but like this also isn't like, sorry, that's my cat. She's a senior cat and she just is congested like all the time. But yeah, it's like the being fine, the being stable is also doesn't just mean that I'm not, like, it doesn't mean I'm okay with everything as well. So it's complicated. I'm gonna try to have, like, it's almost like if I start to behave in one of the ways on my alters, they will switch out. So I'm gonna try to do that for Montreal. He hasn't fronted for a while, and I don't feel close to him when I like get the feeling that another alter is with me in a long time. So I'm gonna try to get him to front. Maybe he can post a video, maybe, if he feels like it, or he can just, I don't know, like watch basketball or something, whatever he wants to do. So yeah, I thought about doing it on camera, but I don't want to fail and then feel really awkward after on camera, because I already feel awkward. So I'm gonna do it off camera, but I'm gonna have him film a video. I'm gonna ask him actually just to film a video like right after. I'm sure he would love to. So yeah, that's just my 2 cents on how I feel when symptoms kind of go stagnant for a while, and how that affects me and all that. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry I was so monotone and awkward. I just feel like not myself. Like, I don't know. So yeah, thanks. Bye.